Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the 13 books I read in June. This was my first official month of summer, so I was able to get through a good amount of books. They're mainly all romance, but I did venture out just an eensy-weensy tiny bit, and I read some that weren't romance-based, if that helps. I think there was like 2, so yay for me. Since there's so many to talk about, I'm going to try to keep the description and thoughts a little limited and refined, but you'll still be getting what's really important. Starting off extremely strong is Manacled. Obviously I don't have the physical copy. I wish I did. I'm so excited for Alchemize. This is a dark Hermione fanfiction where Voldemort wins the war, Harry Potter's dead, and Hermione is locked up and she's literally just left completely alone to go insane. No mental stimulation, nothing. Under Voldemort's rule, he's introducing like the surrogacy program, which is just like a cover-up, but whatever. So she is used as a surrogate for Draco Malfoy after being found by somebody and people realizing she's alive. A key point in this story is her memory loss. So we get these flashbacks, which I didn't realize were like a book in of themselves. There was a lot of them. And I would so recommend reading the flashbacks first if you want to like be destroyed even more. This fanfic already like destroyed me. I was depressed for days. All that to say, it was the best thing I've ever read in my life. This was over 1,000 pages and I got through it in 3 days. There is just nothing better than reading about a man who will burn the world for his woman. Already pre-ordered Alchemize and I will be going to her signing because I am a forever fan of Senlin Yu. The next thing I read was Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This was so fun, so easy to read. It's a case of secret identity. So the woman in this writes fanfic because of course I needed a book about fanfic after reading Manacled. And she writes fanfic for her favorite TV show, and the guy in the TV show is part of the fandom, and they're like internet besties and like kind of a bit more. And after she posts a photo of herself like cosplaying, her photo goes viral for mean reasons, but he finds her beautiful and he's like, you know what, suck it to all the haters. So he asks her out, and during their dinner he finds out that she is the one he's been writing to, and he keeps that under wraps, so she doesn't know. So all throughout the book, he knows who she is, she doesn't know who he is. It was nerdy, it was body positive, and the cinnamon roll hero not only fell first, but fell harder, so no complaints. It wasn't like anything special. It had good representation, and it's not my favorite thing ever. I don't think that it was perfect. I just kept waiting for that moment where things kind of exploded. So 3.5 stars. Okay, next I read A Dream of Blood and Magic. In this one, her parents died when she was younger and she was tossed between homes, and people thought she was crazy for the things that she said she saw, dreamt, and until one day, now she's an adult living on her own, a bird crashes through her window and pretty much validates everything she said. I didn't love this book. It felt like a book I just had to get through, but the author does say that this is what sets up the rest of the story. So that's fair. I just don't know if I will continue the series. Kane, the MMC, is like a billion jillion years old. He's pretty old, which I find kind of weird, but I feel like I know where they're heading with the whole timeline and people involved and his past love and how she may relate to our FMC. I don't know. Actually, maybe I will keep reading it just to like find out. The tension between them is really good, so I'll keep reading it because I'm excited for them to like get together. So 3 stars. Keeping 13 is what I read next. This follows the events of Binding 13, which is about a girl who is abused and a guy who wants to save her. It's such a pure love and very emotional and sad. There's just really not anything you wouldn't like about this book. I mean, the found family and then like the light at the end of the tunnel, and Johnny Kavanagh is perfect. He's perfect for her, he's perfect in general, and he just provides the stability she needs. So I love the Boys of Tommen series. It's just, I wish there was more things like it. And this one got a 5-star rating. The next book I read was I Who Have Never Known Men. What the freak is this book? Well, I know what it is. It's about women who are imprisoned and they don't know why they're being caged up or watched by like these male guards. And the woman we are following, she has been there all her life, so she has no concept of social standards or societal norms. So it was just so interesting to read about. Writing wise, story wise, it packed a punch. Objectively, it's a 5-star. However, for my own personal taste and based on vibes, it's like a 3.5 because I never learned why anything was happening and I'm just annoying and I need answers, so I just left like, why? So I'm landing on a 4. I feel good about that. The next book I read was The Wedding People. I checked this out from the library because it was super popular. I work at the library and people were constantly just checking it in and out. It was constantly in rotation. So right as I was able to get my hands on it, I had to grab it. And I enjoyed this so much more than I thought I would. It was a lot lighter than I expected. It's about this woman who, she's going through it. Her cat dies, her husband left her. So she goes to a hotel to off herself. And at the hotel is this wedding party, and the bride was like so confused why she was there. She's like, I rented this whole hotel, like why are you here? And after she finds out that our FMC is trying to off herself, she's like, no, you can't do that, like this is my wedding, I paid a lot of money for this. And she is very rich, she has, you know, a bit of a stuck-up vibe to her. I loved our FMC. After thinking about offing herself and having just kind of a change of perspective, she just becomes so blunt, and she says exactly what she feels and what she wants, and it just feels like such a breath of fresh air. She's not hiding anything, and the romance in this, so good between her and her new man, which a little unexpected. You would think that it would be a little off-putting, but read it. And then her and her past man, I was like, got you. The next book I read was Saving Six, which is also a part of the Boys of Tommen series. This follows Joey, who is Shannon's brother, and he's the one who took care of her, took care of all of the siblings. He fought for them, fought their battles, literally. He's just been through a lot, so he's fighting addiction. Aoife is the love interest for him, and I love her. She's my favorite character in the entire series. She's so resilient, stood by him. She was like the first thing he laid his eyes on and was like, yes, love that. But he stayed away from her because he just didn't want to drag her down with him. So good. I also read the book that follows this one, which is still part of their story, which is Redeeming Six. Follows what happened at the end of Saving Six, of course. So emotional, and I just love everything about these two. I love a tortured hero more than anything in the entire world. And yes, I'm being dramatic. 6 stars. And I feel like this may be an unpopular opinion, but I enjoy them more than Shannon and Johnny. These two are my favorite from the series. Next I read Caught Up. You see, I really liked Lights Out, so my expectations were high for this. And unfortunately, I did not like it. So Junior is in the mafia, but he doesn't want to be in the mafia. And I'm kind of like, no, because like I'm reading a dark romance, so if your family's in the mafia, you're in the mafia, like just stick with the mafia. Because his family's already in the mafia, so it's like, why leave the mafia? Okay, anyways, it just felt like a book that was trying to be super deep and emotional, but it wasn't. Like, it just wasn't. I just need to follow the same path that Lights Out followed. It was like kind of emotional, like they helped each other, but it was just fun. Like the author knew what she was doing. She was just saying stuff that sounded so outlandish, and it was just fun. But Caught Up just didn't do that. I still love the author, and I'll definitely continue reading her books. I just hope that her future characters have like the connection that Josh and Allie did. Because the ones in this one, Junior and Lauren, just their connection doesn't hold a candle to Allie and Josh's. It is a second chance romance, which I love me a second chance romance. They would hook up in high school, and after her diary was exposed, he told everybody that she lied about all of the stuff that was written in the diary and that they were never actually together for her own protection. I just wish that she didn't forgive so easily. She understood, which I guess I would understand too, but I just wish he did more, like emotionally. Like, yes, he did stuff for her throughout the years that she didn't know about, but he needed to show it more. It just didn't have that spark of fun that Lights Out had. The next book I read was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which like finally, it was predictable. Like, of course, I feel like a lot of contemporary romances are mostly predictable, but reminded me that good men exist. Fictional, at least. Golden Retriever main male lead, Daniel, who is an acts of service man, which Abby Jimenez really knows how to write those. The FMC, Alexis, is a doctor and just someone who's had her life set out for her. Like before she was born, her parents have such high expectations of her and she can't veer off the path that they set. She's also older than him, so things just are not aligning for them at all, but they work through it. And that was just really nice to read about. Two people who, under normal circumstances, can't be together. Society also says that they shouldn't be together, but they're like, you know what? I choose you and we're gonna make this work. That's just something so wholesome and nice to read about. Also, I would love a book on her best friend at the hospital because that woman is God sent. I love her. 4.25 stars, I'm feeling. The next one I read was Love Him Like Water. This one took me so long to get through. I would just kind of pick it up when I had nothing else to read, so like when I'd finish a book, I just like pick this one up. It's a mafia romance, and it starts with her marrying him for an alliance, but she actually just wanted to marry him because he rescued her like years ago, but he doesn't remember, and he also doesn't realize that she wanted to marry him, so he's like kind of standoffish at first. Actually, he's standoffish throughout the entire thing. She literally says, I had to learn to be excited by what I got, not constantly wanting more when talking about him. Girl, no! And she was just thinking that throughout pretty much the entire book. Until, of course, he finally just like manned up. But the groveling still just wasn't enough. I mean, I don't know, I do kind of like a lot of groveling, so in my opinion, there's just a lot of better choices for this trope, so I'm giving it a 2.75. The next one I read is also a part of the Boys of Tommen series. Jeez Louise. Can I be different? My main man Gibbsy. My man, my man, my man. I love him. And I love Claire. She's just such a ray of sunshine. I knew on the first page, not literally the first page, but I knew pretty early on, I knew where this was gonna go. And yet I still cried. This was my most anticipated book of the series, but it may actually be my least favorite, which I'm not saying that's a bad book. It's a great book. Loved it. 4.5 stars. Joey and Aoife are just, their story is just so good, but I also got more of them, you know? I got 2 of their books versus right now I just got the one with Gibbsy and Claire. The final book I read in June was The Rose Bargain. This is so similar to The Selection, and I loved The Selection. In The Rose Bargain, Ivy and Emmett are a great couple. I like them together as people, but the buildup of their relationship just wasn't really there. But it was such an interesting book, like the concept. And it got to where it needed to be, of course. So that's like something I can look over since the plot is based on more than just the romance. So I'm giving it a 4. I was genuinely not expecting this book to end the way it did. I was shocked because it happened so quickly. If you hear construction in the back, ignore that. But what made me read this book was seeing the Fairy Loot special edition, which, wow, that's literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Not to be dramatic, but I was genuinely having dreams where I just like woke up finding that book, or I asked for it for Christmas and I got, like, I'm being so serious. Anyways, those were the 13 books I read in June, and I'm very curious what books you're reading in July because I need books to read, and I'm also curious if anybody agreed on Caught Up. I feel like that was such an anticipated book for so many, and I'm wondering if anybody else felt like it kind of fell flat. And also, another one I'm curious about is The Rose Bargain. Like, was anybody else kind of feeling like there's something missing with their relationship, or is that just me? Because it could just be me, you know? Everybody has different thoughts and opinions. That's like what makes this space on YouTube, booktube, booktok, whatever, just so fun, because nobody has the same exact thoughts on every book. There's always just gonna be something a little different. So please let me know. I had such a great month. Please like this video and subscribe if you want to. Cringe. I feel cringe saying that, but yeah, that'd be great. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.